I look at music like recordings as like a Polaroid snapshot. I played on that Malevolent Creation record in Cold Blood in 95, 96. I remember we recorded that in Morrisound, and I remember Scott was a brilliant engineer.
Yeah.
Scott Burns. We did that record with Scott, and I think we had Steve Harrison. This is how good he was. So we pulled up on a Thursday. We set up. Next morning we come in. He wants to get tongs together. So we're getting tongs. And he's like, okay, I think we're ready to go. I think we got everything kind of sussed out here. We're recording on a tape machine too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
More sound. He goes, why don't you guys, like, can you just run through a song or two or whatever? It's like, just warm up on something and we'll see what we get, whatever. We basically run the set. Like, nobody told us to stop. We just...
They're just like, we're going to riff this thing.
Yeah. After he goes, is that all the songs you guys got? I was like, yeah, I think that's like the 9 or 10 songs we got. He goes, I think I captured all of that. You want to come in and listen to it? And like, literally, he... Yeah.
And that's the album?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So you didn't even know you were recording it?
No.
That's legendary.
Today on Meinl Radio, we have longtime Meinl cymbals artist and death metal OG Derek Roddy. Derek joined the Meinl family in 2007 and has consistently ranked up there in my artist relations manager book as one of the easiest and nicest people that I've worked with. Throughout Derek's career, he has performed with legendary and influential death metal bands such as Malevolent Creation, Nile, and Hate Eternal, and has focused his energy on his own projects such as Serpent's Rise. He released an instructional drumming book, The Evolution of Blast Beats, which further cemented his position as one of the GOATs of death metal drumming. During his time with Meinl, he has performed at the 2007 and 2011 Meinl Drum Festivals and has collaborated with us on the release of 3 signature cymbals, his 13-inch and 14-inch Serpent's Hats and his 21-inch Serpent's Ride. To this day, drummers of genres other than metal are discovering that Derek's signature cymbals work for their style of drumming as well. This really isn't a surprise at all, however, as Derek is much more than a death metal drummer. His ability to convincingly play other genres of music is what makes him one of the more musical drummers out there. While we had Derek in Nashville for a Meinl Cymbals video shoot, with Meinl Cymbals artist Navene Koperweis engineering the session, we had these 2 monster drummers sit down to have a conversation. The result was a really fun back and forth between 2 artists that are devoted to their craft. Enjoy the podcast.
Derek Roddy, man. What's up?
Navene, how are you, man?
Good, dude. Good.
We're rocking.
Great session today.
Yeah.
Yeah, you killed it.
Well, thank you.
I got to say, that was kind of like an honor sitting here and watching it.
Oh,
It was
man.
like, that was sick.
Same for me. Definitely. I had fun.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's-
So, yeah, we were just talking about when the last time we saw each other was, and it was actually in an elevator.
Yes,
At NAMM.
exactly, at NAMM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was actually the only time I've ever met you.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Just kind of knowing about each other from...
Seems like I
The
remember
drummer
one
world.
night, like at upstairs on the Hilton too, maybe, that we were like hanging with
Maybe.
Bosio and Gus.
Oh,
and,
okay.
it's
Yeah, that could have been...
Ian and everybody from Sick Drummer, and I think there was maybe another time.
It might,
But
that might have been
the
the same. I think
trip.
that was the same
Yeah, I
time.
think
I
it was
think
the
that
same
was
trip.
the same time. I think I met you in the elevator, and then we met up later at that
Yeah,
party
yeah.
or whatever. But
Fun times.
I have not gone to NAMM in years. I haven't gone since 2019.
I went in 2023.
Okay, so you've been post-pandemic.
It's weird.
Yeah, is it? I've heard it's
weird.
like different.
It's different.
Okay,
Yeah.
not as many people go anymore.
It's not as many companies are going.
Yeah.
It was crazy the amount of Chinese companies that were there with like knockoffs of everything that Americans sell.
Okay.
Like knockoff DW pedals and like it was,
Yeah.
weird knockoff
So that's like
Axis.
the downstairs. That's what we used to call that, like the flea market.
Yeah, it was all upstairs now.
Okay.
And one hall.
Okay. All right.
Well, it was kind of spread out. There was a couple of halls maybe this time, but it did give me a little bit of hope because it was still like crowded with people. It's like there were people there. Everybody in the scene was, came out, and it was cool to just rap with. I hadn't seen some of these guys in years. So.
Right. Because you're not really are you touring as much these days, or not as much? So
Not
you
as
don't
much.
get to see as many people.
Yeah, my reptile business kind of keeps me like at home. I mean, live animals, it's hard to get out and kind of get away and do stuff. I mean, thankfully, my wife, she takes care of stuff when I'm gone, but I try not to, like, over 2 weeks, I try to keep it at that if I can. Yeah, I've been doing the fill-in for Anthrax with Charlie.
That's
But that's
incredible.
never, like, long or whatnot. I think the longest I did with them was, like, 17 days or something. But so I try to keep it short.
Yeah, okay. Because you're slanging snakes, right?
Slanging snakes.
Yeah, I've seen some of them that you do. Like, they look... Well, I mean, I don't know anything about that field. So
Right.
I'm just like, whoa, that looks crazy.
Man, it's amazing, like the amount of, it's kind of the same thing as musicians. You meet like all of these crazy people, and it's the same, I guess, with any industry. And I never really, when I got into it, I never like thought it would be as big as it is. But then when you start looking at the amount of people that have reptiles, I'm like, man, there's a lot of people that have reptiles as pets.
Yeah. Actually, this guy, Malcolm, I don't know if you know him from the band Inferi. It's like a death metal guy.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He used to do that, but like he stopped doing it, I guess.
A lot of guys. Kerry King did it for many, many years. Slash,
It's pretty metal. It's a pretty metal thing to do.
Nick Cage, he keeps stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of people. Betty White, she used to have a big, amazing collection of snakes.
Interesting.
Betty White, of all things, from Golden Girls. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's interesting, man. Like the amount of people, and I don't know, I just kind of fell into it. It's like I ended up being pretty successful at a species that not a lot of people hatch, and they're not really like successful with, and I kind of found my way with that particular species, and they're a little bit expensive, and then when you throw in like the morphs, like albino or xanthic or hypomelanism, then you start like stacking genes. Then you're creating art, and I mean, literally, it's like live art. So it's been like really, really fun, and I just monetarily wise, I've set myself up like doing that in such a way that it makes it hard to go and do this.
Yeah.
Well,
we're glad that you came out here, and I wanted to ask you about the material that you were playing today.
Okay.
So is that one project, or do you want to tell us about like maybe the different projects?
Few different projects. The first two songs we did is a band that I'm doing with Jason Goebel from Cynic.
That's awesome. Yeah, it had that kind of cynic-y
It's got
sound. Super
sort
cool.
of just like a funkier kind of non-metal version of Cynic. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But,
It's really cool.
yeah, so it's Jason Santiago Dobles from Agora. I don't know if you remember Agora or not. They were kind of also like Cynic with a female singer.
Okay.
And then Chris Kringle was playing bass in that. I think he was the last bass player in Cynic when Sean was still alive.
Okay.
And so we got that going. So we did two songs of that. The third song, that kind of creepy bonkers song, is it doesn't have a title as yet, and it doesn't have a band name as yet, because I asked my friend Jim Ross. Jim is like one of the most gifted and prolific musicians that I've ever met. His follow-through skills on getting stuff done is incredible, and I didn't know at the time if Jason and Chris were going to have these songs ready. So I reached out to Jim and I was like, hey man, like I need something just as a backup, just in case like these guys, we don't get the stuff finished. And like in my box the next day was that song.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say that's one of my favorite ones that you played.
Jim is a maniac.
in this session.
He, like I said, there's a project that he's doing that's got over 140 something songs. It's got over 100 different musicians on it.
Wow.
And it's like this epic thing that he's been working on for a decade. It's called Band Whore.
Okay.
And the reason it's called Band Whore is because of all of these people that he's got from all these other bands.
All right.
You know what I mean?
So you're going to play on one of them, or
I think I've played on over 60 tracks.
Wow. Okay.
Of that, and it's some of the most brutal. I mean, dude, it's insane death metal, man.
Really?
Insane.
Okay.
Yeah. 60, 80 riffs per song. Tempo changes are like every 4 minutes. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers.
So when you play on his stuff like that, or do you like learn the whole song, or are you just like kind of doing part by part?
No, I learn it and play it.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But I've been doing, like I said, I've been recording a lot of his stuff for like, a decade now. So, and it's interesting too. He's doing like the main body, and I may not be explaining this right, but this will at least be the gist of it. The main body is like 13 songs, and they're done in different like death metal, kind of black metal, kind of a doom metal kind of vibe, all these different musicians that are on it. And how he's going to release it is to have stems, so you can literally put guitars from one session on drums from another, bass from one on another, and you can build your own
interactive
kind of project.
That's pretty cool.
It's really neat. So I can't wait for him to get it done. So anyway, he got me that track. So I only had
really cool.
Yeah, I only had that one from him. The next song is a new Serpent's Rise track that's coming up on the new Serpent's Rise release.
Okay.
And then the last two tracks are Isotropy, which is my band in Florida. So Serpent's Rise is kind of my solo project. I never really wanted it to be that. I kept like looking for people. People would come and go over time. I got to like this last this last lineup I had, and everybody kind of like decided they didn't want to play anymore. So I'm like, okay, so come to do the new record, I was by myself again. So I ended up doing everything on this one, the new one that's getting ready to come out, except for bass. The bass player I had on the last one, Phil Willis, he plays bass on this one too.
Okay, so you play guitar.
I play guitar on all of it. I got some guest leads here and there. I noodle a little bit too, but nothing significant enough to actually, I need some
Sounded
other
pretty
players
sick,
to come in and,
yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, I've got. It's so funny. It's like I've been out of the scene, like touring scene, for so long, but I've done more music probably in the last 6 years than I've done in the previous 20.
Right.
I have another band based out of Beirut, Lebanon, called Kavar.
Okay. Wow.
And
That's-
yeah, I went
How'd you
over
get hooked
there.
up with those guys?
Okay, so I went with Nader, and I have some Lebanese background in my genome.
Yeah, so I remember you saying that earlier.
Yeah, and so I've always wanted to go there. And Nader's like, we got an opportunity to be able to go. So I went. I did a clinic while I was there, and a guy that was at the music store, the Instruments Garage, it was a very predominant store there in Beirut. He was like, yeah, bro, I used to be I was like in the first death metal band like here in Lebanon. We used to have to avoid sniper fire, just going to practice and stuff.
Wow.
And we had to do it underground, so nobody knew, this was like, back in the 90s. And he played me some of the stuff, and it reminded me like of a Middle Eastern suffocation. I was like, man, this is killer. It's like, you don't play anymore? He's like, no, bro. I was like, we need to do an internet band, just as a joke.
Yeah.
And we're on our second record now. I've been over there a bunch of times to do shows, and it's just.
Was that the last 2 songs that you did? Was that band or no?
No, I didn't do any of those
Okay.
songs. Right? Honestly, I do have a buttload of play-alongs at home that I'm working on right now
Yeah.
of that band.
Gotcha.
So I'll be putting some stuff out. There is a couple of songs that I do have out from the first release that we did on video. So if you look for Kavar, you'll find it.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool.
That's wild. I mean, that's something that's cool about taking kind of a break from touring and not being as busy with that, is that you can kind of actually focus on music, which is, it sounds
I look at music like recordings as like a Polaroid snapshot. I don't know if like a lot of younger guys aren't going to even know what a Polaroid is, but back in the day you had a camera that went and it spit out a piece of paper, and you had your picture on
they're
it.
coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah, I've actually seen that's pretty funny. My friend of mine actually went down this dirt road of wooden cameras from back like the 18th century
wow.
and stuff.
Okay.
Pretty funny. Anyway, so I've tried to do as much as I can. I mean, I'm in with the projects. I'm doing as much session stuff as I can. I'm kind of picky about it though. I won't do everything, but I get some good stuff every now and then. I'm like, ooh, this is really good. So
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Just like, dude, when cool stuff comes up, I'll do it.
Do you know Chad Pettit?
I'm not sure.
He's in that band Angernaut.
I'm
He's
not
also
sure.
got Grindcore Coffee Company,
Okay.
Legion guitars, Blackheart guitars back in the day. He founded all of that stuff.
Okay.
He sent me some songs that were cool for this Angernaut recording, so it's pretty cool.
Very
So I
cool.
just got some of that done.
And you recorded at home, or?
I do everything. at
Yeah,
home.
you got like a little setup. But
Yeah, thankfully, in my man cave, I'm able to do video and audio too. So
yeah. So I know about you from Hate Eternal. That's like
Yes.
how I first heard about you. Was that kind of like the first band that everybody knew you from, or was there something before that?
Malevolent probably, because
Okay.
I played on that Malevolent Creation record in Cold Blood in 95, 96. Oh, maybe it didn't come out 96, 97 maybe. And that was the one that everybody, I remember we recorded that in Morrisound, and I remember Scott was a brilliant engineer,
Yeah.
Scott Burns. We did that record with Scott, and I think we had Steve from Ass Suck. He was doing the engineering, Steve Harrison. And this is how good he was. So we pulled up on a Thursday. We set up. Next morning we come in. He wants to get tones together. So we're getting tones. And he's like, okay, I think we're ready to go. I think we got everything kind of sussed out here. We're recording on a tape machine too, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Morrisound. He goes, why don't you guys can you just run through a song or two or whatever? It's like, just warm up on something and we'll see what we get, whatever. And so Phil and I, we basically run the set. Like nobody told us to stop. We
They're
just,
just like, we're gonna riff this thing.
yeah. And after he goes, is that all the songs you guys got? I was like, yeah, I think that's like the 9 or 10 songs we got. He goes, I think I captured all of that. You want to come in and listen to it? And like literally, yeah. And,
And that's the album?
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So you didn't even know you were recording it?
No.
That's legendary.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
and most every one of those songs was first take songs.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I think
so
we
great.
we screwed something up in the middle and we started again. But every one of those songs on there was like, again, tape machine. You know, it's like unless
That's
you're
so
going to
cool.
start cutting tape and doing, that's
Yeah.
a nightmare.
I know, that's what we were kind of talking about earlier. Like, I really just miss that live energy sound. Like treating it more like a Polaroid, treating it more like a moment,
A
that
snapshot.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
rather than
Snapshot in
like
time.
this thing that you're crafting to the point of it's not a performance anymore. You know, so I think like I really think that's one of the reasons why people love the Meinl videos so much. You know, like I see those kind of comments sometimes, like,
Right.
"Oh, this sounds better than the album." You know, like
Yeah,
because
sure.
they're just like, "Oh, it sounds like a guy playing drums," and like,
Right. Yeah.
you've always sounded like that, you know, because you're kind of from that era, and I think
I'm
like
from that
I really feel
dinosaur
like that.
age.
Yeah, I really feel like that's coming back like pretty big time.
I'm seeing it too with bands that I'm recording locally at home, and you know, I think it's like just getting back to the more natural thing. And honestly, I think that's why music is worthless. People want to blame Spotify, and it's never been easier
Yeah, yeah.
to support the artist directly, but people don't. You
Yeah.
know, and that just tells you that they don't have the same feeling about music that I did when I was growing up.
I know.
Music was a major part of my life. You know, you walk through the malls now. It used to be when I was a kid, there was music blaring out of every store. Now you go to the mall, it's like silent.
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird to me. But anyway, back to the
Yeah,
malevolent
no,
thing. That was probably the first thing I did. And I remember when we were like practicing, just going through this. Every drummer in town, Pete, Steve, Don Tardy, like everybody rolled through. Lee Harrison, everybody was rolling through, like checking out, because word got out quick around Tampa. You know, it's like, oh my God, you got to go see this drummer recording over at Morrisound for Malevolent right now. And like,
That must have been wild.
everybody showed up. You know?
That's so cool. That's really cool that you got to record there. So, like, how many times did you record?
That
at
was the
Morrisound?
only time.
Just that once.
Just the
Okay.
once, because by that time they had already like started trimming down, and like it was getting into the 2000s, and they were
Okay.
they
And Eric's been
moved.
recording for a long time, right? So
Sorta.
pretty long time, right? Since,
Sorta.
like,
Yeah, I
early
mean-
2004 or 5. something
Yeah, because we started Mana Studios together, and he had like the computer side of everything, and I had all the analog stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like the monitors, Yuri's, and a console, and like all. And we ended up buying a better console. We got like a Soundcraft Ghost at one point, and so we started upgrading. Then we bought that tape machine from Morrisound, the Atari.
Really?
Yeah.
So you still have it?
I don't know if Eric's got that or
That's
not.
crazy.
I
That's
still have
that's
like
a freaking piece of history right there.
yeah, and we recorded. We did iMonarch on that.
Okay.
Here's a funny
So
story
Our
about
Monarch
that.
was on tape.
Yeah, both of those.
Wow.
Were, both of the
Amazing.
Kiko Kings and that one. Funny thing about that, we bought that tape machine because like there was this whole. We were on tour and every band was like, "Yeah, we want to record, but we want to do it on tape. We don't want to do it digital."
Yeah. yeah.
So Eric and I were like, "Man, we should, like really invest into a tape machine. See, what we can do." So we found Jim. He was like, "Yeah, I'm selling this one." We got it. I think we paid like $12K for it or something back then. I can't remember. And we got that machine. We serviced it. We got it up and rolling. And I think we were the only band that recorded on it. Everybody
Because-
tried.
Yeah, yeah.
Like people don't.
They're
You don't
like, "We need to
realize.
punch
it's-
in a bunch and all this stuff. Yeah.
yeah, you can't punch in because a record and a race head are 17, 18 inches away. So you definitely hear it. Unless there's like a break in the song, you're not punching in. There wasn't a band that came in that we booked that could get from A to Z in their own music.
Yeah, I get it. That's
So it ended up
that's a
going to
skill.
computer.
Yeah, yeah.
And nobody said, "Man, we don't want to do it." Well, you can't record on tape. So,
I love it. I love it.
it's just a funny backstory about that. Like, the way
Yeah.
it used to be.
I
so
mean,
to
that's
speak.
the way I feel now is it's just, to me, when I hear somebody play drums and if it's on an album and there's like the human feel and like, there's like flamming going on and stuff, like
love
to
it.
me, it's so refreshing. I'm just like, I love this. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas I think that's just been like stamped out over the years. And it's like what you were saying, like we kind of did it to ourselves in a way, like,
Oh, yeah,
I
of
think
course.
like with all the AI music and people complaining that, drummers are like faking their videos and all this stuff. It's like, well, you
Look.
guys did that, by making this stuff that's so unrealistic and so robotic sounding that like nobody can even do it.
Right.
You know?
And we're on the back end cusp of it, right? Because
Yeah.
let's go back to when music really died, was in the mid 90s. Because MTV they didn't stop playing music videos because their ratings were through the roof. So like people don't understand the industry. Like when you talk about the industry, right? Like 80% of the industry are people that don't know a good guitar player from a bad guitar player. They just listen to music.
Yeah.
And then you have the musos, which is us. You know, either you play or you don't play. You're just really into music. That's part of your life. It's culture. But 20% of an industry can't sustain an industry.
Right.
So in the mid 90s, when MTV stopped playing music videos, that 80%, they had already disconnected.
Yeah, that's true.
Because once they found out that's not so-and-so singing that record, that's not so-and-so playing drums on that record, that's not Peter Criss, that's not Ace Frehley, that's some other Joe. Like once that started, people lost their trust in music.
That's true.
Right? That's what happened. It had nothing to do with, the internet wasn't even around. I mean, it was, but it was very, very, very basic, and you weren't getting like what you get now.
Yeah.
Those people disconnected from music a long time ago.
Yeah, or like when, and around that time when it was like, oh, like, did Britney Spears lip sync this show or not? Like, I remember that used to be like a big deal. Now it's just like, nobody even freaking cares.
Right,
if you're
because nobody cares about music. They don't care if it's lip synced or not.
Exactly, like
You
it's
know
not
what I
even
mean?
a thing anymore.
Well, I won't say nobody cares about music, but the part that made the industry actually
like
work.
that big amount of people that would pay enough money to
Right.
kind of keep it going. Yeah.
Just
like,
the average person that turned on the radio and made dinner.
Yeah.
That don't happen anymore. Man, when I was doing these Anthrax shows, every single person I saw with earbuds, I'd go up to them and ask them, day to day, just setting, whatever. Hey, what are you listening to? It was like 1 person in 100 listening to music.
They're like a podcast or something.
Podcasts.
Yeah.
But why? All right, so let's go back to the MTV thing for a minute, right?
Yeah.
So MTV, they were smart. They knew why their audience disconnected, and they replaced it with what?
Reality TV.
It's right in the title, real,
Yeah.
right? And it was. Until that became scripted. Oh, the Duck Dynasty guys aren't a family. They don't have beards. So once people figured that out, that's fake, they moved on to something else because reality television.
That's kind of a good point.
Reality television ratings are in the dumpster.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
cares. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And with the podcast, you're getting something real. So I kind of see your line of thought. It's like
Right.
the music kind of became sterile. And so
It
people are
became
like,
fake.
That's not really like a
Well,
good...
let's just say it like this: it became dishonest.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah, it
we're
became
human beings.
dishonest.
We
Yeah.
spend our entire lives looking for honesty and trust.
Yeah.
And when you can't get it from your music, then you can expect people not to care.
I know.
Because
So
I know
gotta
I
bring
don't.
it back, man.
When I find out something like somebody's not honest or they're not trustworthy or whatever, I'm done.
Yeah.
And music is no different. I hear a sampled snare drum, my ears immediately shut off.
Yeah.
It's just programmed in. I don't even listen. Like all you metal guys out there, all your records, I've never heard one of them. Well, maybe I've heard a few seconds of them. But yeah, if there's a sampled snare there, my ears turn off.
I tell you, man. I mean,
Because that's not why I listen to music. I listen to music to hear the soul.
I know.
I
And
listen
that's what I'm saying. It's like I think people turned like the soul and the rough around the edges thing.
Mm-hmm.
They turned that into a negative when
Well,
it's really not a negative. That's actually a positive.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's what makes you like you
your
know like
fingerprint.
yeah. It's like now you hear a metal album and like it could be anybody playing drums.
Yeah.
There's albums that I've been hired to play on, and when I hear it done, I'm like, why
Mac-
am I even on this?
Mac
Because-
plays drums on most 99% of everything you hear, that's Mac.
Exactly. Whereas,
That's Mr.
20
Apple.
years ago or so, it'd be like, oh, that's Derek Roddy. Oh, it sounds like him. Or that's Kevin Talley. That's John Longstreth.
Right.
Like the death metal guys.
And we
that
would
is-
still have that if we would get away from all of this other. And look, technology's great. I mean, I think the whole idea of the technology being there, but I think a lot of this now is just because we can.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's so easy.
Yep.
It's so easy to do this stuff, and it's so easy to cheat it. And
Yeah, it's actually harder. I feel like it's actually harder to get those takes that you're like, yeah, that's it. That's the take. Right?
Oh, yeah, that
It's
for
way
sure.
easier to just go in there and
edit
half-ass it, and then it's cool. We're gonna freaking sound replace everything and
Way
quantize
easier.
the whole thing.
yeah,
Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that. That's why so many, like when I hear bands now that are like local bands or smaller bands,
yeah.
it's like all their production sounds the same. It all sounds like, quantized sound replace, just freaking, it just sounds like every other one. And I'm just like, where's your voice?
Right.
And I think like,
And look, a lot of times that's not even up to the drummers. It's like If I told you the amount of my friends that call me every time that they've recorded and like, man, they quantized my stuff. I don't sound human. It doesn't sound real.
Yeah.
You know, like the guys that know, there's a small percentage of guys that know, you know.
But it's hard. Like I said, it's harder. So we did our new album, like, and I'm no angel. You know, I've done everything. I've done completely raw, one take, the whole thing. I've done edited the whole thing. Like I've done it all because I want to see what it's all like. You know, and now I've come back to like I want it to just sound like me. And I've always tried to make sure that stays in there, but like it is a lot harder to know when it's good and not perfect. You know, just be like, that's good. We're gonna leave it like that, and then now you have to, like, if you're gonna do the drums like just a take, like you're gonna have to cut the guitars to the drums. Yeah. You can't mute the drums and just we're gonna do the guitars to the click and that's it.
Right.
You have to cut them to the drums because it's the drums sound different in each part. You know, like we were doing, we would do a guitar part and it's like, let's copy and paste it over to when it happens again.
Yeah, no,
you can't, like, because it just sounds weird. The feel's not there.
The feel's not there.
So yeah, it is a lot more work to get it on that high level and have it be with the feel. You know, I feel like that's one of the reasons why it's not done as much.
One of the art things that's really been lost is, you know, living with your mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so easy to fix this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And like that's, okay, so it's really hard, right, to know who you are as a person, much less as a player.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? So you have to figure that first thing out before you can ever figure that out.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So the whole idea of like being able to live with mistakes, knowing what your capabilities are and owning them, you know what I mean? And knowing what your defects are too and what your low points are and owning them.
Yeah. No,
it's like we were talking about with my foot. I rolled my foot so bad, you know, it's like I haven't had the same control over singles in many years now that I used to have. I mean, I still come in here and play. Is it perfect? No. But I don't care. That's the thing. It's great. My fingerprint. Yeah. I do not care.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and that's all part of like knowing who I am as an individual and as a person. Is like that was a skill set that I guess because I grew up recording myself. I mean, always, you know, and not being able to edit and just having to live with it. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah.
Do I want to make stuff perfect sometimes? Yeah, I do, but I just again, honesty. You know, it's like I don't think that's too much to ask, especially when you're killer. There's so many great bands that still do this stuff. I'm like, why? For the life of me, why? You're great. You're a great band.
I know. Me and Mark Lewis, my engineer friend, we record with him. Like we talk about it all the time. We're like, he's such a good drummer. Right. Like, why did they do that to his drums? You know, like. So I totally get it. But I mean, a thing that I used to love when I was younger is, you know, you didn't get to see videos of the drummers you liked, you know. Right. So it would just be like, I'd listen to the album. And then I remember seeing like Origin. I used to like John Longstreth was like one of my favorite drummers.
Oh, God, he's one of my favorite
drummers. I remember seeing them live and he would like drop a stick or like mess something up and he'd like start smiling. And I was just like, that's so cool. You know, he's like an actual person. You know, I just like, I loved it. Like he wouldn't. I feel like when guys used to make mistakes, it's like they didn't like beat themselves up over it. It was just like, I made a little mistake, like whatever, you know. And like,
everything I do on the drums for the most part is a mistake. Like, you know, it's like I try not to be so like.
Totally, and that's why I think it's great when people come in here and just like have fun with it. And like another thing that we kind of wanted to talk about was like the tone, you know, like that hand tone of like, I'm sure people ask you all the time, like, how do I get my snare to sound like that? Or like, I have the same snare and it doesn't sound like that. And it's like, well, you have to spend some time with the way you're going to hit the drum. And like you said, the fingerprint, everybody's going to hit the drum a different way. Or the cymbals, or, you know, it's an expressive instrument.
Do you play through the head? Do you play off the head?
Yeah, exactly. And and everywhere in between, you know? Yeah,
there's so many different subtleties, you know. It's like, and you can manipulate your sound with your grip. You know, we talked about this earlier. I don't know if you ever see this on the ground, but out of thin air, look at that. But you can hear this, right? So that's like just barely holding the stick. But if you choke it, it almost went up like
it's totally
a half step, right?
Exactly.
I mean, and that's just on a wood floor. That drum does the same thing, you know? So it's like, again, knowing who you are. Yeah. A lot of times when I'm playing, like, we laughed about this with everybody's trying to design these suspension systems on these toms that make the drum ring as long as possible just to have a sound guy gate at 800 milliseconds.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's some, like these drums nowadays, all these modern drums, they ring too much, right? And like when you're playing fast, you get that around the drums. And I know automatically if I'm playing fast, I have to play different.
Yeah.
I have to choke up on the stick to get the to get the bite to come out of these drums, you know. And I don't want to mute them up and do all of that stuff, but you know, I realize that I have to change my grip in order to get the tone that I like. And there's so many people that focus on like the perfect technique. And look, that's fine and everything, but if you're not aware, I mean, I've seen a lot of drummers from the side of the stage, and man, like a symptom that I see a lot nowadays is like, bro, I can't hear you over your cymbals.
Yeah. All you can hear is hi-hat.
You know what I mean? Unless the monitor is like facing that way and I can hear the trigger or whatever, or obviously on the breakdowns, everybody plays really hard.
Yeah.
And you can hear stuff, but like all of this fast stuff, everybody with the push-pull, it's like, dude, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
And
especially
like
with the toms and stuff.
Yeah, and if you're sitting at the front row, those people are there to see you like the most. They're the people that want to see you. And if you can't project your sound to the people in the front row, then what are we doing playing metal? I mean,
Yeah. I agree.
it's just one of those things. Believe me, I love it. I love seeing the mechanics of it and how well people can get that. But to me, it's not effective playing metal because like I lose all of the impact. I lose that air moving and
Totally.
again, why are we playing metal? You know?
That's why I've lately been like so struggling with like, you know, for the last few years I've been doing the doubles thing, you know, and like it's cool, and it's when you hear it out of the PA, it sounds
Right.
It sounds really impressive.
Well, triggered
crazy.
and through the
it's like, but without it, like if you sit side stage, it's like there's no kick,
Right.
you know, and I think like I'm pretty much just I don't know if I can
Look,
do it.
I love
don't know if
double
I can do it
strokes.
anymore.
I love
Well,
them.
your doubles are actually pretty loud. I was like pretty impressed because you could do like the kicks we have almost wide open. There's just like
Yeah.
a little pillow in there.
Yeah.
And like I could hear the doubles. It sounded really good.
Yeah, that's something I didn't
impressed.
think about too. I would have rather had like a little more. That's probably why those drums felt so foreign to me today because I didn't have anything in there. I didn't even think about that because I like a pillow, you know, like just.
I don't know. I was like, as an engineer, I was like,
Oh, they sound
let's
great.
leave them open.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
It's like the way the kicks sound is just massive. I just
And you think
love
you're
it.
just going to leave them natural?
I
Probably.
think we have to.
Yeah, it
I
sounds
think we
pretty
have
good.
to. We're on here, you know, talking smack. We gotta.
Look, I don't mind. I don't mind the triggering thing. I really don't. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand. And look, it is not even really about like the trigger. If I was playing two 16-inch kick drums, it would totally work.
Yeah.
But when it's just the physics of putting a microphone inside of a big cylinder with all that air moving
Yeah.
around in it, it's like next to impossible to make consistent.
Yeah.
But a 16, and I've done that.
Yeah.
But then they don't sound like kick drums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's
For sure.
so it's always that balance too. You know, of finding.
I mean,
like-
I'm not really dogmatic about it. You know, it's
Right.
like I do believe, kind of philosophically believe in what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, I want to hear what I'm talking about. You know, like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just
yeah,
what
yeah.
I want to hear. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
don't. I want to hear something natural. Like that's, you know. So it's not. I'm not just doing it. I'm not saying, oh, we should bring back natural drums just to be cool. You know, it's
Right.
like I just like that sound.
Right,
It makes
right.
me feel more.
Well, you have to be able to, you know, to make the drums project again. You know, in order to do that acoustically, you have to be able to make the stuff project to people. You know.
Yeah. And I think it sounded great.
And
Like
you
I said, it
sacrifice
sounded great.
speed doing that. I mean, I know
Yeah,
everybody's
and-
in a race to like whatever BPM, and you know, it's never. People used to come up to me in like King of All Kings and stuff era, and they'd be like, "Man, that song's at like 240, you know, whatever." But really cool, thanks. Is it good? Do you like it? I mean,
Yeah.
like I never knew or cared until people started telling me, like, "Man, that's because we didn't no clicks, no metronomes." Like, no, I didn't.
You just played fast.
I played fast, but only when I'm playing music with other people. Like I never
Yeah,
play
yeah.
fast by myself.
Yeah,
Like I'm never like sitting around going, I don't never do that. I've never done that ever.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing
remember-
it with people, I do not care about it. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, I remember like a long time ago, you said people would ask you. I can't remember. It was like a video or something, and you're like, how do you practice to play so fast? And you're like, you play fast.
You play fast.
Yeah, and that's kind of like my philosophy with music for
Yeah.
sure. Like the way that I got to be a little bit faster is just I'm playing in a band and we're just always trying to play fast. And like
Yes.
most of my time playing drums has been in bands. You know, I
bands.
didn't really
I was
practice
never
on my own
I was
that
never
much.
a practicer.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. I take that back. I started practicing when I was like 30.
Yeah, I feel like
You
I've
know?
been practicing more now than I used to when I was a
Yeah.
kid. Because when I was a kid, I didn't always have a place to play, and it was like, well, we just practice at band practice, once a week. That's like when we would practice.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of like when you would get it done, and then you go on a tour and you're playing every single day, and
That's when you start to rip.
yeah.
Like when you get on tour and you're playing, 20 days in a row, 30 days in a row. Remember, Hate Eternal did a tour in Europe. We were there for 36 days and we played 34 shows.
Yeah, just on.
Headlining too. Just I mean, we go to open with King of All Kings.
You're just like, whatever, no problem.
Yeah.
Just thinking
Yeah.
about the catering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I don't take it that serious, It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't really think about it that much, I just kind of, I know what I do. I know what my strong points and my weak points, and I just try to capitalize on both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think that's the way to do it. I think like being overly methodical, to me, kind of starts to miss the point after a while. Like, I'm not going to say that I haven't spent time like breaking stuff down and I'm like trying to get better. I
Right.
definitely do that.
Right.
But like at the end of the day, it's like supposed to be fun and an expressive thing.
Right.
And I think when people get too caught up in the technical aspect of it, it's like we're missing the point here. I think the technique.
I mean, there's room for it all. You know
Totally.
what I mean?
But I think the technique should kind of like, to me, it always comes second. Like I don't want to learn a technique.
Your first
Yeah.
technique second.
Like, oh, I want to play like that guy. How am I going to do that? Okay, I got to like learn this technique, or
Right.
To me, it's always like you're going to find the most efficient way to like do a blast beat, because otherwise you're not going to be able to do it.
your body will your body will tell you.
Exactly. Like when people are like, "Oh, what kind of grip do you use?" I'm just like,
I say,
I don't
you know what I say? Yes.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like,
grip.
I don't know. Yeah.
It changes. Yes to all of it.
Yeah, totally. So yeah.
But that's kind of like we were saying, like, drummers are on this like search now for like this perfect technique and everything. It's like, man, there is no perfect technique. There might be a room you get in and like it just changes everything. Like the sound in the room, like a difference between a concrete room and a wood room and a tile room and being outside.
100%.
That will completely change your playing, because your drum sound, no matter what, no matter how hard you hit, just goes poof. It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I always had a tendency to overplay when I'm like in a live, like outside environment, because you can't hear anything. And again, for me, I gotta feel. If I reach a point where I'm sacrificing my impact for speed, I know I need to slow down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't care how fast something is if it feels like a mouse running across a countertop.
Yeah. You want it to like convey that emotion. Like
You
we're
walk into
freaking-
a room at somebody's house, you're staying overnight on tour or whatever, you turn on the light, you see a bunch of cockroaches run off the counter, you know what I mean? Just like, that's what,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what
Yeah. We want to actually hit it for sure.
I want some vibe. And that doesn't mean that you have to hit hard. You know what I mean?
It's like
a conviction
you're hitting,
thing.
like distinct, and you're hitting intentionally, like
Right.
we're,
It's a conviction thing.
yeah, it's like I think that's a huge thing, is listening. Like when you're rolling around the toms, like if you aren't hearing every tom hit, then no one is hearing it.
Right.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
And this is kind of a weird thing that I thought about recently that I've never kind of put together in my head. But anytime I'm playing, like I'm never like in the moment when I'm playing. I'm always like kind of somewhere else. And I noticed that when I'm like doing any kind of rehearsals or anything, I'm hearing everything back as if I'm listening to it already recorded.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like
totally.
Like I just have the CD on. I'm just maybe like air drumming to it, even though I'm actually playing it.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. So, and I'm like constantly mixing, using my ears to mix like the volumes of everything,
Yep.
like getting cymbal volumes down so there's not so much bleed or.
Well, it makes a huge difference. I mean, that
yeah.
makes a huge difference when you do go to mix something and you've done that type of stuff where
Yeah.
you're thinking about like, oh, where are these cymbals going to be, and then when you go to actually mix the project, you're like, this is easy.
See, that's the type of stuff
it's like
I
half
think
the
about.
freaking work is already done.
Yeah, I'm never coming in going, man, I hope my feet, my technique's good today or what. I'm not thinking about, man, is the bleed gonna be like, how high are these ceilings in here, man? How am I gonna have to adjust my playing to get what I need and what I'm trying to say as an artist, and as opposed to just being like, oh, they're gonna sound replace it anyway.
Yeah.
Just that. I think that little bit of extra is what separates like the legacy players, that little bit of difference. It's not much. It's just a slight difference of
Yeah.
foresight in what you're
Yeah.
doing. You know?
I think it comes with time. Like you can't really replace that. You know, I think
It does. I mean, I started when I was real young, and I was fortunate because my dad was recording. He was in and out of recording studios when I was young. He had actually had a song on Billboard on the country charts back in the '80s.
Oh wow.
My dad did.
In because you're from South Carolina. is
South
that right?
Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it in that area that he did that, or?
Yeah, but it made like Billboard, like national, you know.
That's crazy.
So that song, that was an interesting story because his whole idea, he's a contractor, so he was making good money at the time, but he had these songs and he wanted to record these songs and maybe license them or sell them to somebody here in Nashville.
Okay.
So he had like Gary Morris in mind for this country thing, and this producer that was there, his name was John McCullough, and he had produced that song "Stay" by Maurice Williams back in the 50s, 60s, you know, with a real high voice. Oh, won't
probably
you
have to hear
stay just a little bit longer, with a real high voice, you know. So he produced that song back then, and my dad went in and recorded these couple songs, and he's like, "Man, you can't sell these. Your voice is great. You need to put this out there and become a country artist." And
That's amazing.
yeah, right. So my dad was like, I mean, okay, whatever. And it got out there. They got some radio play. He ended up on Billboard. He was like right under Roy Clark. I remember, like, I still have the Billboard, actually. I don't know if it was like number 29 or something like that. He got to on there. And I remember this was like 1983, 84. And I remember my dad telling my mom, "No, I don't think I'm going to pursue it. There's just no money in it." You know, and this was like, he ended up on the country charts in the
Yeah.
mid-'80s, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
And
wild.
even he was saying there was no money in it. And
Yeah, it's
that's like the first memory I have of like monetary value with playing music was
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dad saying, "Well, there's no money in it."
you're like, watch this. I'm about to go be in a death metal band.
Right. Yeah. And the guys ask me too, like, "Why didn't you move to LA or New York and like really try to do it?" I will say, you know, I don't know. It's just something about the expression of
Yeah.
like who you are and knowing who you are again. Like
Yeah.
I knew who I was. I knew that I was decent at this, you know. Okay, let's play this, you know.
Yeah, I really feel what you're saying because I'm like the same way. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't want to do it as a job.
Right.
You know, it's like I wanted to do it to do what I wanted to do. You know, and I feel like I was even worse when I was a kid. You know, like now I've kind of come around to like, how can we make money doing this? You know,
Yeah,
but when I
right,
was younger, I'm just like, whatever. I'm not going to make money doing this.
I
I'll
think
just get
that's
a
a
job or
symptom of
something.
youth in general. You know, you don't have the foresight to like, what am I doing down the road or whatever. But that's that's how I fell into the snakes. I'd always had animals and different things. My dad got me into this stuff. We had everything from flying squirrels to foxes, owls, bats. Yeah,
wow.
we've had, everything. If it was injured or whatever, my dad brought it in. And
Okay.
so I had like the love for wildlife really, really early. And I remember we had gotten an injured rat snake or something, brought it in. It'd been ran over just on the tail end. And we brought it in and it laid eggs. And we ended up keeping the eggs, hatching them and letting everything go. And that stuck with me, man. I was like, that is so cool. That animal has been doing that for literally 120 million years, like
Yeah.
unchanged.
Right.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it always kind of stuck with me. So when Hate Eternal and like the monetary thing started, like I think the last tour I did with Hate Eternal, I was like $11,000 in debt.
Okay.
And I just said to myself, I can't do this anymore. I have
Yeah.
to figure out something. And I'd already had a few snakes and I had some clutches and I was like, man, maybe I could amp this up somehow. So I started looking for a species that was like high dollar, that was really hard to hatch and like not too many people could do it. It's kind of the same thing as this.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see the
It's
parallel.
like the same kind of
yeah.
mindset, you know? So it's like, not too many people are into this. Let me figure this out. And somehow or another it worked. I don't know how. I still,
I remember when you gave me your business card and it said that you were like a snake raiser. I was
Yeah.
like, is he serious? Like I thought maybe it was like a joke.
Yeah. And look, that's hit or miss too. You know, this year I had about $200,000 of stuff sitting in the incubator this year. My thermostat failed when I was out of town and it cooked all of it. I literally threw $200K in the trash this
So
year.
the eggs like didn't hatch.
Yeah, nothing hatched.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And that's never happened to me. That's like this is kind of one of those things where you get complacent in life and things are just going and you're not paying attention. And the moment like you just let your guard down, something like that will happen.
That's true.
You know what
That's
I mean?
when it happens.
And I still had a pretty good year, don't get me wrong, but man, just like taking that kind of hit monetarily, like that's a lot of money to just throw in the trash,
That is pretty rough.
you know? So it's not all like peaches and cream either, you know.
Yeah, of course. Any industry, any job is a grind. You know, it's
Yeah.
like a hustle. You got to get used to
totally.
it. And then, so you live in Florida, and you've lived there. Like, when did you get down to Florida and involved in that Florida death metal scene?
I moved down there to join Malevolent Creation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was like in the early 90s or mid 90s?
It was like end of 95, 96.
Okay.
And we recorded In Cold Blood in 97, I think. And yeah, that was one of those situations where it was like I had decided I had been in bands at home, and I was like, man, I had a bunch of really good bands, but because we were in South Carolina, it made it hard to do anything, you know.
Yeah.
And we were trying to go to Atlanta and Charlotte and to do these shows and whatnot. But
Niall's from there, right?
Niall's from Greenville, South Carolina. Yeah, and dude, I've known Carl for 30 years, you know. Like we go way back, back when Niall was called Mariah.
I didn't even know they had a different name.
Yeah. It was kind of a different band, but I moved down to Florida to get to join Malevolent, and I met my wife. I got stuck down there, so I've kind of just been there, you know.
That's amazing.
But from Malevolent, I went. Those guys, they were more about the party, you know, and I just kind of wanted to kick ass. Like, I'm not a partier, so to speak. You know what I mean? I don't drink, and I'm not like into that culture so much. But and like those guys just seemed like they were there for the party. Don't get me wrong, I like to party, but
Yeah.
it's not
as much as those
it's
guys,
not what I'm
right?
looking forward to every day. You know, what I was looking forward to is kicking ass.
Yeah. Wanted to
And so I left and moved back home for like a year. And JP, who was playing second guitar in Malevolent, had come and visited me. And we wrote like a couple songs. And he came back down to Florida, played them for Jason Blackowitz. Jason had, since at the time, had been on the wagon. He'd got off from drinking. And he was like, man, I'm really serious about my plan. I want to do something. I got this band named Divine Empire. Let's put this band together. And then like, he heard those songs, and then like 2 weeks later, he's like, I got us a record deal. We need to get in the studio and write like 8 more songs. And so we threw Divine Empire together like really quickly. We did a couple of tours, but during the process of the touring, Jay fell off the wagon. It started becoming the party again and not kicking ass. And I got done with that. I was just like, man, what am I going to do? And somebody had said to me, you need to hook up with Eric, because Eric's all about kicking ass. He just wants to kick ass. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we hook up, and like, I gotta say, I mean, people have heard me say this before, but me, Eric, and Jared, there was something special about the three of us on stage. Like, it was something so savage. Like, half of those shows I did with those guys, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Because you just black out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was a completely different person on stage. All of us were. And like, still to this day, you'd be hard pressed to find 3 or 4 other individuals that clicked like we clicked. And then when Jared was gone, it was like a big gut punch. I mean, Randy did great. I love Randy. I brought Randy into the band. He's one of my best friends, but it just wasn't the same. It didn't have that same like kick.
Magic.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it didn't have that same magic. You know. And then like that was like part of the reasoning where I was like, man, I need to step away. I need to step away. I need to step away. Like that was going on for about 2 years while I was in Hate Eternal. You know, I need to step away. I need to step away. I need to figure something else out. Halfway through that time, I bought a pair of Blackheads for $10K.
Okay.
You know, I was like, let me just take whatever money I have and let me see if I can make this work. You know, so I started.
So when you left Hate Eternal, that's when you kind of just went with the reptile stuff.
Yeah. Well, when I left Hate Eternal, this is another funny thing. Like, none of these companies would give me the time of day when I was actually out there playing and touring. And because I was going to the NAMM shows and I know how to talk to people, and I could put on a collared shirt and I could make eye contact and not look like I just rolled off somebody's couch and rolled up into the NAMM show, you know what I mean, looking for endorsements. Like, I wasn't that guy, because I had had so much retail experience at that point, probably 20 plus years, you know. Only job I've ever had out of high school was either a music store or a drum shop.
Okay.
So I have a ton of retail experience. And that was just one of those things where it's like, man, I need to get more involved in this.
Yeah.
And I started doing the NAMM shows heavily. And it's funny because I was with Sonar for many years, and Thomas Lang, he said to me like years later after we ended up at DW together, he goes, I always thought you worked for Sonar. I didn't know you actually were an artist. Because I was always at the shows, helping, tearing down stuff, cleaning stuff, like talking to people, and because I love that environment. That's great. I wish there was an environment for me to still do that kind of thing, you know, where you could go into a shop and help sell gear and talk to people, and you know what I mean. I love that side of it, you know. And like that's when I started getting attention. And then YouTube, obviously, back then. I mean, in the early days of YouTube, I remember somebody sent me, dude, you got video of the day on YouTube. It was like that old video with the red curtains or whatever. It was the most watched video that day on YouTube. But I think YouTube had less than 200,000 people
I know.
on it at the time.
It was like such a small thing.
And then for a while, I would put a video up, and then within a week, it would have 150,000 views. It's but then all the algorithms took over because they can't store all of this information, so they have to figure out how they're going to allocate it out, and so that whole environment changed as well. But that's when I, during the clinic thing, that's when I was building my snake collection and really focusing on that, and then focusing on the product side of it because I love that stuff, and and that's kind of the direction that I took, and it just it worked for me at the time. It's a tough environment now because there's hardly any retail.
I know.
So we just lost Sam Ash. But there is I do see an upsurge of drum shops and independent stores kind of reopening, and
especially here in Nashville.
There's some stuff going on.
There's some really cool ones.
I'm super excited about that because I'm hoping that maybe in some way I can maybe get back into the retail side of it.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that when you were playing. There's this place called Forks.
Yeah, I know
and
Forks.
I did a clinic there a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that would have been cool if you could have done one.
Yeah, man. It's that. I think that market's opening up a little more.
It is.
Yeah,
there was a bunch of people there. It was really cool.
I mean, I did one in Florida back in October, and we could only put 85 people in the room, and there was people down the hallway, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, people came.
That's so bad.
If they know, they'll come. That's the thing. It's so hard to get people to know about stuff because everybody's glued to this, and you got the 5-second scroll thing. Yeah. It's so hard to get people to pay attention. And
that's what I was joking with you about. We don't have the Derek Roddy forum anymore. The Derek Roddy forum.
God,
that was the nerdy drummer hangout.
Man. But we're 55,000 members on that thing.
That's so crazy.
At the heyday.
Yeah.
I had the Artisan Foundry back then too. Had 70 people paying $50 every 3 months or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know out there, Derek Roddy had this is before it was
before Facebook.
It was before it was MySpace era maybe.
No, even before. Yeah, I think
he had a forum where drummers could just post stuff and talk about drums, and that was the metal drummer forum. That's
everybody, man. Everybody used to be on there.
Yeah.
It was good times. It was an interesting point in history. It's
totally.
It only lasted for about 5 years.
Yeah, it was this in between. It had to go to social media. We know that was going to happen, but it was before that happened, you had that little thing.
As soon as Facebook came out, and that was just such a platform designed to do what it does, and it just sucked people in.
Totally.
There's a use for all of it. I mean, I'm not totally anti-social media at all. I just think that it's a rat race. Yeah. And I really don't want to spend the amount of time that it takes to do video and editing and all of that stuff to put out there something that algorithm's not going to let anybody see. I would much rather do something in real life.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's not that much work though. You could make a video if you have it at home and you have it already set up. You could make it pretty quick. And then another thing that I'm noticing is people want to see raw videos. If you just put your freaking phone on a stand and just ripped it with no triggers or anything, that would be a freaking sick video. That would be that would be hype.
Yeah. And people are doing that.
And people want to, like you said, they want that honesty. They want to see that, that they don't want to have something sold to them.
Right.
Right. So I appreciate that's kind of coming back around,
Yeah, I think there's so many good players out there that are realizing, hey, I'm a good player.
Yeah, just
I don't need. But again, a lot of time it's the record label, it's the producer. A lot of these guys don't even know they've been sound replaced. Man, I sound pretty good. They have no idea. You know what I mean? So that's part of it too. And I know those drummers as well that they just play and they're not gearheads like I am or you are. And
I know I have some friends like that too. They just rip. And
I have some friends that rip so hard they couldn't even tell you what size drums they're playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to do 13 or a 15 or I don't know, it might be a 17. Or, you know what I mean?
I'm like that sometimes too. People will ask me something and I'll be like, I don't know. I got to check.
Yeah. Yeah. Cymbals I get that with because it's hard to look at them and see exactly what they are.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
It's too fun.
But man, Derek, I guess that's pretty much it.
I got nothing. Ooh,
Again, I'm honored to be on this session and to get to sit here and talk to you. It's freaking really cool, man.
this chair is so soothing.
Yeah. You're going to cover your whole house in that.
Okay, so yeah, I'll cover my whole house like this. I look like a werewolf. I'd love
Well,
it.
right on, man.
Thank
I think
you.
we could
I do
go
appreciate
get
it.
some food and hang out.
Let's get food. You guys want to come get food? Let's go get food.
All right, bro.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Of course.